Hello, I'm Representative Ryan Warner, representing the 52nd District in Fayette and Westmoreland counties. And today I am at the 101st Farm Show in Pennsylvania. And joining me here today is the Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding. Secretary, thank you very much for joining me.
Great to see you. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. So this is the 101st Farm Show. So I'm sure that within that 101 years, we've come a long way. But what do we have in store for our state for the next 100 years in agriculture?
Well, I think it's a great question. So the benefit of an anniversary is a chance to look back, right? So we look back 100 years when, each farmer here in Pennsylvania fed 4 people. We now are at a point where they feed 153 people. So if that's 100 years, we'll be feeding 300 people in each farmer, right? Which I think is one of those amazing stories.
Absolutely. And in the legislature, we had some important bills come up that affected agriculture. Could you briefly highlight some of those changes?
Well, there were 2 that were really important just in the last sort of couple of months, right? You have the industrial hemp. If you look around Pennsylvania, we've got a lot of towns and townships with hemp in their name. So it was here at some point in our history, went away for 70 years. Legislature brought it back, and that's a great thing. So it gives us a new market, new opportunity. That's one. The other being the realty transfer tax on preserved farms. And we had some counties and townships that wanted to actually charge, basically a realty tax on the transfer of an easement, even within the same family. So that was addressed. That's no longer going to happen, as 2 examples.
Okay. Now, there is a program which I happen to be very fond of. I've hunted my whole life, lifelong hunter, and I believe it's going on for 25 years now, Hunters Sharing the Harvest. You just want to take a moment and highlight that program and the 25-year history?
We just celebrated the milestone of 1 million pounds of venison coming from the Hunters Sharing the Harvest into the charitable food system. Our connection is, as a department, we've got all of the food banks and the soup kitchens and the surplus commodities and the whole charitable piece. It's both the federal and the state. So our connection is through there and helping the Hunters Sharing the Harvest get into the food banks and put that great food. But think about 25 years, all of the hunters in Pennsylvania putting their product on the table to feed hungry people, I think is a great story.
That's absolutely fantastic. Now, much like the state of Pennsylvania, agriculture is our number 1 industry. And in Fayette County, it's our number 1 industry. But part of agriculture, which I happen to be very fond of, is logging. Because I grew up working in our family sawmill. Our family still has a logging business. So it's a business that's close to me, and our family also had a dairy farm. Could you highlight, I know that Pennsylvania is the number 1 producer of hardwood lumber in the United States, and I believe that we're also the top producer of mushrooms, if I'm correct. So could you highlight what's Pennsylvania known for? Where do we stand out in agriculture?
Well, you've touched 2 of the most important, right? So 62% of the total mushrooms in the U.S. are produced in Pennsylvania. The hardwoods industry, you know it well based on your family's history and what is around the county. But most folks don't know that is the largest export from Pennsylvania is actually our hardwoods, which is a great story, right? In addition to that, you've got dairy in the top 5. You have our fruits and vegetables, pumpkins, Christmas trees, the whole cornucopia. 5 products in the top 10 in the country come out of Pennsylvania.
It's fantastic. Secretary Redding, I want to thank you very much for your time to do this interview today, and thank you for your support of the agriculture community for our state and in Fayette County. And I guess I've been notified that I've just been invited to take part in a little competition where I'll be showing a calf here, so I'm very excited for that. And again, thank you guys for your time, for joining me again. This is Representative Ryan Warner, 52nd District in Fayette and Westmoreland counties. Thank you.